Newsfeed Now, Coronavirus Facts, Not Fear, begins now.
Good Monday. Thanks for joining us for Newsfeed Now. I am Aaron Nolan. April 13th. Let's jump straight into the latest numbers surrounding COVID-19 in the U.S. There are 557,000 cases, over 22,000 deaths. New York, New Jersey, Louisiana, California, and Michigan to continue to be some of the hardest hit areas. The Food and Drug Administration is authorizing the use of a decontamination system for respirators. Those are devices healthcare workers can use to protect themselves. The FDA says more than 6,000 hospitals already have the system. In total, there could clean about 4 million respirators per day. Delta Airlines is changing how passengers board planes. It's the company's latest effort to curb the spread of the coronavirus. Passengers will now board planes from the back to the front. Flyers will have to wait until their row is called. The idea is to lessen the interaction with people in their seats. Delta says the change will stay in place at least through May 31st. Many folks just hanging on, waiting for the stimulus checks from the government, but Alex Lamone has a warning from the Federal Trade Commission about scams with those checks.
Scammers are working hard to take advantage of the coronavirus pandemic, sending emails, calls, and texts that appear to be from government agencies.
This is a call from the Social Security Administration.
They promise to help people get their stimulus checks faster.
Don't respond at all.
Monica Vaca, Associate Director of the FTC's Consumer Response Division, says don't click on any links in emails or on social media. Instead, go to irs.gov to look up accurate information.
Right now, there is nothing for people to do to make sure that they get their stimulus payment.
The IRS says its website will soon allow people to check on their payment status and confirm direct deposit information, but those options aren't available yet. Colorado Congressman Jason Crow says most people aren't required to do that.
If they have filed their tax returns online either in 2018 and 2019, and they already have their bank account information current with the IRS, then they should just automatically get those cash payments.
Payments are supposed to begin next week, but those without direct deposit may have to wait for paper checks in the mail.
The Treasury Department only has the ability to print 5 million checks a week.
The IRS website will provide people the option of adding new direct deposit information in the coming days. In Washington, Alexandra Limon.
While many are dealing with the pandemic, now many across the South are also having to worry about tornadoes and cleaning up from that. In Mississippi, at least 7 people are dead. The governor declared a state of emergency. Gerald Harris has more from Mississippi.
Easter Sunday for many will never be the same.
It's just a tragedy.
In the town of Bassfield, at least 3 people dead following catastrophic tornadoes.
Well, this makes me feel bad, it's very bad, It's nice people that was killed here today, and I knew all 3 of them.
2 died at this local hangout, another pulled from rubble just half a mile ahead.
Just hang in there, God's going to be with you, and that's all we can do right now is just pray and just he's going to help us through this.
There were several reports of injuries throughout Jefferson Davis County as crews worked to put everything back in place.
Thanks so much. Moving about 30 miles away, let's go to Anna Farish, who is in Soso, Mississippi. Anna, first off, let's talk about the damage you see behind you right now.
Well, the damage actually behind me is from a church. I'm here at First Baptist Church in Soso, and a lot of it has come from the roof. Another building that's actually off to my right-hand side, that would be your left-hand side. My photog's going to pan over there. There's a few trucks and emergency crews working right now, but a lot of these trees and debris have come from that building and the top of the roof. The steeple of this church actually has flown across the street into another neighbor's yard. So that's what a lot of this debris actually is right now. A lot of debris that we've seen over on this back far road in front of me is actually just tree limbs falling from a more wooded area, and a lot of this other debris that you're looking at is kind of hard to tell where that's actually coming from. There's a fire station across the way that was completely destroyed. The garage was totally smashed in. There were a few fire trucks in there, and a neighbor's house across the way is also destroyed as well.
Anna, how are first responders and those cleaning up dealing with the tornado amidst what is a pandemic and COVID-19?
Well, obviously, it's hit both back-to-back COVID-19 and this tornado for some, and so it's a very unfortunate situation here. But first responders have been doing pretty well. They've been wearing masks. They have been keeping their distance. The debris is very widespread, so it's easy for them to keep that 6 feet apart. There's actually a volunteer crew in this parking lot as well with disaster relief, setting up their tents, and they've also been wearing masks as well. All
right, Anna, thanks so much. Appreciate you taking the time out of Mississippi. Obviously tragic there as 7 people have died. A Pennsylvania biotech company is beginning trials. Dina Bear spoke with the vaccine developer about the advancement in this battle.
And it's a very complex process.
To make a vaccine, scientists first need a sample of the virus it's designed to thwart. In this case, SARS-CoV-2.
Our type of technology, which is called DNA medicines, requires the genetic sequence of the virus. And so we received that from the Chinese authorities on the 10th of January. And actually within 3 hours, we had designed a COVID-19 vaccine.
In the lab, Dr. Kate Broderick and her team at Inovio Pharmaceuticals began testing the coronavirus vaccine candidate called INO-4800.
And the results that we're getting from that so far are looking really very promising. So we're very quietly confident.
So now it's time to put it to the real test on people with the hope they will get a shot at immunity to COVID-19 without having to get the infection. Phase 1 tests the safety of the vaccine.
And that's really just primarily asking in a small group of people, is the vaccine safe and is it immunogenic? And what I mean by immunogenic is it giving the right kind of antibodies and T cells, so what we call the right kind of immune responses that we hope would be protective against the virus.
That's the standard protocol for clinical trials. Although, thanks to the emergency authorization to expedite the process, getting this vaccine to the larger testing state will be far more rapid. The next step will look at efficacy.
And it asks the question, is the vaccine effective? Which means, will it actually protect you from contracting the disease?
Here's how it should work. The vaccine contains a tiny part of the SARS-CoV-2 genetic sequence, the identifiable red spike. Once injected into the body, it triggers the immune system to recognize the infectious agent. Think of it like a most wanted poster with SARS-CoV-2, the virus that causes COVID-19, in full view.
So it provides the body like basically a template, a poster of what the virus looks like. And so when the virus, or if the virus should infect you, your body already knows exactly what the bad guy looks like.
40 healthy adult participants in Philadelphia and Missouri will receive the first inoculations. And by December,
we're hoping at Inovio that we'll have 1 million doses of our vaccine ready by the end of the year for clinical testing, which is a fantastic number. And we're also working in parallel to really scale up the manufacture of the doses so that we can get numbers that would be appropriate to cover populations.
Dr. Broderick says while she and her team are working on the tool to keep people alive and virus-free, she hopes people will use the only tool they have right now to stay safe.
The best thing that we can do for each other is to stay at home, stay put, and wait for these other medical tools to be developed.
Let's go live to Chicago. Dina joins us. Dina, is there hope in this?
Well, there's great hope because we have been saying all along the only way to go back to society right now is to have a way to fight COVID-19. But with that advancement, it may take until December for large-scale trials. So that's a bit troubling. One other thing people think about is whether or not this virus will mutate. Think about the flu virus. And every year we get a different cocktail in the flu vaccine. And that's because it mutates. So far, doctors are saying that the SARS-CoV-2 virus, which causes COVID-19, does not mutate. So that would be a good sign that this vaccine that is in trials right now would have some hope. But when we think about how passionate the doctor was about this social isolation and the fact that we have been doing it right now, when you think about the fact that we do not yet have a vaccine and everyone is clamoring to get back to work and get back to school, what happens when we do that? There could be another spike in cases.
That's a terrifying thing to think about. If we're going to that trial in December, how soon could it be available for the masses?
Well, they're saying that the trial will be a mass trial, and they are hoping for 1 million themselves. That's not very much, correct, when you think about the population. But they are right now working with other manufacturers to be able to repeat what the company, the small company Inovio, is doing. And actually, Bill Gates is involved in this and putting a lot of money toward getting other manufacturers up and running so that we could do massive trials across the country. So let's keep our fingers crossed on that one.
Dina Bear, thank you so much. Appreciate you taking the time. Let's move over to Oklahoma. Still talking about this. Researchers taking part in a clinical trial at the University of Oklahoma, among about 100 other facilities so far that have opted to take part in the trial led by the Mayo Clinic. Here's Cassandra Sweetman.
The Oklahoma Blood Institute will help collect plasma from people who have recovered from COVID-19 and give that plasma, which should be full of antibodies, to people who are still really sick.
We really don't have any proven effective therapy.
That's why OU Medicine pulmonary specialist Jordan Metcalf enrolled the hospital in a clinical trial that was just approved by the FDA last Friday in partnership with the Mayo Clinic. The trial takes plasma from recovered COVID-19 patients and transfuses it into patients who are still very sick. The doctor says people who have recovered likely generated a lot of antibodies to the virus. Smaller previous trials have shown it improves a patient's status.
That is to say, if they are on a machine to help them breathe, they tend to get off. If they're on large amounts of oxygen so that they can get enough oxygen, they're able to wean that down.
While there's not 100% certainty, Metcalf says he believes it will work.
The trial is designed so that every patient who signs up and wants to get the plasma, as long as we can find a match, will get the plasma.
That's the catch. The trial will rely on previously confirmed COVID-19 patients who are now recovered to come forward and donate the plasma at places like the Oklahoma Blood Institute.
Our difficulty is that we need a therapy before we have the peak of illness. We need some of those early people who have recovered from this illness to donate.
Oklahoma City and Cassandra, obviously we talked about this a moment ago out of Chicago with another trial that's going on. It's all about hope. Is there hope with something like this that maybe we could find a cure, or, you know, like the flu shot, we can find a shot that maybe prevent COVID-19 in the future?
Yeah, I mean, I think the doctor was saying he's very confident that this will work. It worked with the flu pandemic in, 1819, but he was saying that this, he's confident that this will work for patients who really need it. And he's also saying that anyone who signs up for it, the way that it was created is so that anyone who wants it can get this treatment.
Yeah, again, that is kind of the thought process. If you need it, you can get it. Are they having an okay time finding the people to donate that plasma?
Originally not. They started searching for it last Tuesday, and because they didn't have any donors at the time, they had to seek it out of state. But since then, the Oklahoma Blood Institute here has made a registry of people who would qualify to give the blood. And as of Friday, they had 20 people signed up to donate. So they just need a lot of those people who got sick early to go ahead and start finding out if they can qualify to give plasma.
Good stuff, Cassandra. Thank you so much. At a time when we could use a hug, a Louisiana woman has found a creative way to give them during an outbreak. Crystal Whitman has the story.
In the age of social distancing, Pierre Parr grandmother Kathy Alamaw says her desire to hug her family inspired her to create a hugging curtain.
I just love my curtain. I was able to hug my parents for the first time in over 3 weeks, and I'm waiting on my grandson. I can't wait to hug and squeeze them and kiss them.
The reunion video of her hugging her parents for the first time in weeks went viral.
I told her I really miss my hugs. Well, she went home and went right to work. In a couple of hours, we was over here hugging.
Her daughter, Bree Cavalier, helped out.
Her hugs are on another level of just being intense.
Our news cameras were rolling to capture her hugging her 4-year-old grandson for the first time in what felt like forever.
Oh, I love you.
When's the last time you saw Mama?
When I was a baby.
Proving at a time of such uncertainty, we all feel better after getting a hug.
It was so genuine. Didn't even know there was a plastic between us. Really, we all needed it so badly.
Crystal Whitman, NBC Local 33 News.
Crystal joins us from Baton Rouge. Crystal, what a cool idea. Is this kind of making the rounds on social media right now?
Absolutely it is. It's giving people hope and inspiration. It was an emotional time to see this story. I did talk to Kathy Alamo. She's from Pierre Par, which is South Louisiana, actually this morning, and she said it's gotten over like 9,000 shares already, and we just did this story last week. So
yeah, that's fantastic. I am a little bit worried about hugs that may go on too long. I know my mother is really wanting to hug her grandkids. Are there holes in there so you can breathe? I'm a little concerned about the makeup of this, the sheet.
Well, I wish I had the curtain with me right now, Eric. We could definitely demonstrate for you, but you just kind of like, reach your arms out and hug the person and just kind of turn your head a little bit. So you're standing in between the curtain. Just give them a hug. It feels great right now to do it.
I think you're absolutely right. Crystal, thanks for taking the time here on Newsfeed Now. That is our show. We'll see you right back here at 10:30 tomorrow.